Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Friday show brought to you by Monmouth Park. I'm Ray Paulick, joined by bloodstock editor Joe Nevills. This is the big weekend, Joe, at Monmouth Park. TVG Haskell Day is Saturday. Noon first post, 14 race card, 5 graded stakes, of course, topped by the TVG Haskell that has a post time of 5:45 p.m. Also, the Grade 1 United Nations before that. And advanced wagering on Friday. If you go out to Monmouth Park, advanced wagering on that. And don't forget, if you're at Monmouth Park, you can get fixed odds. You know, the odds when you bet are the odds that you get. So going to be a very big day at Monmouth Park by the Jersey Shore. And I think it's going to be a very, very big day for Chad Brown, Joe.
Yeah.
He's got the favorites in 4 of the 5 stakes. And the one race where he's not favored is the Haskell itself, where Jack Christopher is a very narrow second choice in the morning line behind Bob Baffert trained Taiba. So will Chad Brown sweep 5 stakes races? I think it could happen.
It's very much on the table. Very, very much on the table.
That would be, I certainly have never seen a trainer do anything like that on a major race day like this, and it could happen. But let's talk a little bit about the Haskell, and then we're going to entertain some questions that have come from readers and viewers of the Friday show on a variety of topics. So, Joe, who do you like in the Haskell? Who do you think is going to win this race?
So I feel like the conventional knowledge is on Jack Christopher. No horse's hand is hotter right now, arguably, than his. I mean, he won the Woody Stevens by 10 lengths. He just the horse knows how to win races. But I'm going to go with the other favorite here. I'm going to lean on Taiba as my win candidate. Bob Baffert coming off his suspension. We know how much the Haskell means to him and his program. I think he's still looking for that signature comeback victory, and just Taiba is going to be ready to win this race, and Bob knows how to win at Monmouth and in the Haskell in particular. He's hard to ignore for me.
Has not been out since the Kentucky Derby, in which he never really was able to show his early speed and wound up a well-beaten 12th behind the long shot winner, Rich Strike. He's really been working fast. You know, I think, we say he hasn't raced since Derby Day, but he had a workout on June 25th, 6 furlongs from the gate in 111 flat. And the way that Bob Baffert trains horses, those are almost like races. Mm-hmm. Some of those workouts that he has, they put him in with a good horse. They duel all the way. He did have a little bit of a break after that workout where he maybe missed a work for some reason, or maybe they just wanted to give him a little more time because that was such a sharp work. But the problem that I see with Taiba and with Jack Christopher is that they both kind of run the same way. They're both on the front end.
We might get a very interesting speed duel, and that's kind of why I'm willing to put the line through Taiba for the last one, is because they ran such a suicidal pace in the Derby that a lot of horses that are known as front-running speed horses never got the chance to run their race because, Summer is Tomorrow was out there doing his thing, and that nixed a lot of horses' plans. I'm willing to look past that. One of those 2 horses is going to probably end up being there at the end, maybe both of them in a very heated stretch duel, or maybe someone will take advantage of a very nuclear pace and come in off the pace. Who knows? We'll find out on Saturday.
Well, I think the race, just looking at it from a trip standpoint, I think White Abarrio from Safi Joseph coming out of a defeat in the Ohio Derby at Thistledown, I think he's going to get the trip sitting behind the dueling speed.
Listen, it's a proven fact now that coming in off a loss from Thistledown will get you a Grade 1 win. Classic Causeway proved this out not too long ago. That race, the Ohio Derby is becoming a key race.
That's going to be the key race. Okay.
I'm not willing to toss White Abarrio off going to Thistledown and not coming back with a win, because it's already proven we've gotten a Grade 1 alum out of the Ohio Derby this year.
Well, Monmouth Park is not a track known for horses that come from way out of it, and this field of 8 horses, there's not really a closer in there. White Abarrio is I guess as close as you could come with it, and with that definition. So if the speed does back up, if those 2 horses do hook up, who knows, anything could happen, right?
That's why they run.
That's right. All right, Joe. Well, you tell me that you've gotten some questions recently. I get some on the Ask Ray button at the website for the Paulick Report, and you've done some things on Instagram where people ask you anything.
Yeah, that's one of the things that our website is known about, is that we receive a lot of questions from our intrepid readers, and I've compiled a few of them here just to, give a batch answer. These are questions that a lot of people have asked. So instead of answering them all individually, let's put them all in one place so you can see them and everyone can have a good time with it. So I've compiled a few here. We'll start with one from the Ask Ray pile. Whenever you think of weight where horse racing is concerned, it's been the subject of the rider, jockey weights. Isn't it time to add the weight of the thoroughbreds to the past performances as well?
I think so. I think that's a very interesting question. In many countries, in Asia especially, I know the Japanese racing program includes the weight of the horses going back a number of races, and then they very prominently display the weight of the horse in today's race on the tote board. The Stronach Group has been weighing horses at its tracks and compiling the data there, but I don't think other tracks are doing the same thing. In order to make it really work, everybody's got to be on board. It does remind me a little bit of dog racing, which hardly exists anymore in this country. Dog handicappers, I'm told, because I never did handicap dog races, use the weight of the pups to determine whether or not they were getting a little overweight, if they maybe were sick and lost weight, or if they're at their peak weight performance.
That would be where the real value would be for me as a horse player, is if there's a drastic up or down in the weight. Yeah. But in terms of if a horse weighs, a couple 100 pounds more than the one next to him, I don't know if that's necessarily where the handicapping angle is, because we all know it's in here. That's where size matters for horse racing. So I'd be curious. I would also be curious where they would put it in the program. Programs are already so packed with information. Where would you put something that's going to be at least 4 numbers big? It's hypotheticals now. We're all talking pie in the sky stuff here, but there is some logistical stuff that I would be curious how they would figure that out on a race by race basis.
Yeah, I think the daily racing form past performances are about as crowded as you can get, but a lot of people do look at things online now instead of printing out past performances or buying a program or a form at the track. And I think you could find a space for it, at least in the online format.
Oh, definitely. Okay, so question number 2. Famous mare, is Zenyatta currently in full, or are her breeding days over? So I looked into Equine Line for this. And Zenyatta she was bred to Warfront for 2023. She did not have a full in 2022. So we're looking forward to 2023, perhaps a full by Warfront. She's been bred to him twice already. Both of those foals died very young. So this would be hopefully the first one that sort of made it to racing age, and we'll see what happens. Gotta love Warfront. He's a proven winner.
And how old is Zenyatta now, would you say, Joe?
Let's see. I got the numbers here. She was born in 2004. So
18.
What's that make her? 18? Yeah.
So she's still got a couple of years of potential productivity. And, I just hope that she's happy, healthy, and if they decide not to breed her, that she finds some friendly pasture mates that she can hang out with, because I know she's being well taken care of.
Mm-hmm. By the very best.
All right. What else you got?
Next question. Best North American turf miler this year?
Wow. You know what? I'm going to defer to you on that one. I like to just wait until the end of the year and decide. We're in July.
We're just getting into the turf season.
I don't want to say I don't care, but I know where it is probably. I just don't know who it is. I think it's in Chad Brown Shedrow somewhere.
I wouldn't doubt it, but I'm going somewhere different, actually. I got this question on Instagram, so I answered this yesterday in my Ask Joe Anything segment. I really like Spenderella. I think she might not necessarily be the best turf miler right this instant, but she might finish the year like that. She runs hard every single time. No North American horse has figured her out. She's only a 3-year-old filly, but I think she's got potential to go up and face older mares later in the year. She ran her guts out in Royal Ascot. She really should have had the win there. If she comes back to America with that kind of form and continues running at that level, we could end up having a Got Stormy situation where she is eventually going and beating the boys regularly. I am all in on Spenderella.
Well, good. And I hope she not only has a couple more good races this year, but comes back as a 4-year-old next year, because we need horses like that to come back and run.
Definitely. Okay, looking down the list to the next question. This is one that is on everyone's mind. When is Rick Dutrow coming back?
Well, it's a little bit like Waiting for Godot, isn't it? From the theater of the absurd. He shouldn't have been gone this long, in my opinion. People were out to get him. Some people in the regulatory business were out to get him. I think he served long enough, far longer than he should have, probably. I know that this was not a suspension. This was a license revocation, and he has to go back and apply for a license once his time is served, and he's getting very close to that now. And they can make a decision on whether or not to grant him a license or not. It's not an automatic comeback for him.
Mm-hmm. And I know that he's one that a lot of trainers have, gotten behind in terms of getting reinstated, getting put back in. I'll be curious if sort of character references will have a say in that at all, or if, state racing commissions, private entities will say, no, we're good, babe. We're good. So sticking on the idea of embattled trainers, we got another one here. What is going on with trainer Marcus Vitale? Is he back in good standing now? I see he has horses at Presque Isle Downs.
There's a lot of people who don't understand the difference between regulatory suspensions or penalties and private property suspensions or private property exclusions, I should say. And Marcus Vitale has been banned at several tracks on private property exclusion rights, but he currently is not under any sort of regulatory suspension. He has been in the past. He's had many regulatory suspensions in the past, and he's often appealed them and been able to train in those circumstances. But he is currently training, I think, at Presque Isle Downs, as the reader asked. And that's the interesting thing there is that's a Churchill Downs property now. Mm-hmm. And they were very proactive in banning some trainers from their properties in Kentucky and elsewhere, namely Bob Baffert. But for some reason, they haven't done the same with Marcus Vitale, and who has a sheet of violations like, people, you just can't believe it, how many there are.
And I believe that he also ran into some instances where states weren't banning him, but were also saying we aren't going to license you, which, is probably why he's at Presque Isle and not at certain other tracks in the country.
Well, I know that he ended up at Turf Paradise when he couldn't. I believe he was denied a license in Illinois.
Yes.
But once you do get a license, once you get your license back, most states will recognize the reciprocity of the license. So he did recently sign some sort of an agreement with the New York Racing Association. We don't know the terms of that, but I would be surprised if we see him racing in New York at NYRA tracks in the immediate future. I think the agreement must call for some sort of agreement that he won't race there for a while.
Mm-hmm. All right, last one on the list here. Why do we have voided claim rules under HISA? Claiming's not a marketplace to sell a horse, but more like gambling, and there's no insurance.
Yeah, that's kind of an old school philosophy among people who don't understand that racing is not viewed by the general public with the same embrace that it used to be. They look at it now as a business that uses animals for entertainment, and it's a gamble. Claiming races used to be, and the gamble was maybe I can get one more race out of this horse. I'll drop him down in class, and maybe somebody else will claim him, and I'll be rid of it, and it'll be somebody else's problem. That doesn't fly anymore. The people will not accept using horses that way, risking their health and welfare to just try to get rid of them. So I think that's been one of the most progressive changes that we've seen in recent years, having a voided claim rule where trainers will not be tempted to drop a horse in class that has a problem that might get past the vet, the pre-race examination, but could pop up in the race. So I think that's been one of the reasons the voided claim rule has been one of the reasons we see a reduction in fatalities in racing.
Yeah, it's the right thing to do. I remember growing up, one of the things I always heard about claiming races was that if you claim a horse and he dies on the track, then you bought a dead horse. And that's basically swindling. That's just not good business on any side of the equation. You have to get rid of things like that. I think it's an investment and you have to treat it as such.
Totally agree. And I want to thank all of those people that continue to write in and ask Ray. I will just say one thing, though. A lot of people will send me an Ask Ray question and then give me their email address, but they type it in wrong. So when there's no way for me I send a response and it comes back as that email address doesn't exist. So if you're going to ask me a question, you want an answer, please check the email address and make sure it's correct.
Or just cross your fingers real hard that we answer it on the Friday show.
That's right. All right. Well, listen, thanks to Monmouth Park for their sponsorship. Take in the Haskell this weekend, whether you're on track at Monmouth Park, where you can get those fixed odds wagers, or at a simulcasting facility near you, or on television. It's going to be a great day, good racing. And like I said earlier, Chad Brown could do something huge on Saturday at Monmouth.
Historic.
All right. We'll see you next week on the Friday show. Thanks for joining us.